Lying on a 200-square-meter bed, I stared at the ceiling for a long time before finally accepting reality. I had transmigrated into the vicious male-supporting character in a CEO romance novel. I quickly ran through the plot in my mind. My name in this world is Jason Reed. I've been in love with Emma Johnson since childhood, but Emma has always despised me. Later, I forced her to marry me through all kinds of underhanded means, and she had no choice but to agree because of family pressure. After we got married, she rekindled her old feelings with her white-moonlight and asked me for a divorce. As compensation, Emma would give me half her assets. But the original Jason loved her so obsessively he refused to divorce. He repeatedly courted death, schemed against her first love, framed him, and eventually died miserably. The original owner wasn't just an idiot, he was a love-brained idiot. Beyond saving. So if I want to live happily and healthily to 99, all I have to do is, when Emma asks for a divorce, sign the papers obediently. That's it. In the evening, I sat at the dining table, waiting for Emma to get off work and come home for dinner. After checking the time on my phone for the nth time, I finally heard the front door open. Emma came in, glanced at me once, then walked right past the dining room, ignoring the dishes on the table, and went straight upstairs. I couldn't be bothered to care whether she ate or not. I picked up my chopsticks and stuffed a whole black abalone into my mouth. Delicious. Emma really is like a mountain pig who can't appreciate good food. She lives on company takeout all day and night. After eating my fill, I went upstairs and ran into Emma, who had just showered and was heading to the study to work. She was wearing a bathrobe, her features were exquisite, and her skin was pale and smooth. I spaced out for a couple of seconds. Emma glanced at me. "Jason Reed, mind your eyes." I curled my lip. Looking at her perpetually indifferent face, like I owed her 20 billion, I finally understood the meaning of abstinence aesthetic, kills desire on contact. Honestly, even Chairman Mao makes my heart beat faster than she does. Now my life motto is, stay away from Emma, cherish my future wealth. Emma and I sleep in separate rooms. We have no marital intimacy whatsoever. The original Jason used to run to her room in the middle of the night to harass her and always got thrown out. His face was thicker than a city wall. The next day, I woke up naturally, refreshed, and then went straight to the mall for a shopping spree. I bought anything expensive and didn't even look at anything under $100,000. Of course, I was using Emma's card. My only regret was that I couldn't max it out. Not my fault, she's too rich. It's fine, there's always tomorrow. The original Jason was a rich second generation, but his parents were blatantly biased toward his younger sister and had transferred all the family assets to her. If I want to become a true tycoon, I have to rely on myself. When I got home, the housekeeper came over and politely asked what dishes to prepare for lunch to send to the company. Only then did I remember that Jason used to send lunch to Emma every day. She never ate it. It always went straight into the trash. What a waste. And why should I stick my warm face on her cold backside? Am I insane? I waved my hand. No need, I won't be going anymore. After lunch, I got a call from Emma. She said I had to accompany her to a banquet that evening. Emma may hate me, but in public she still has to maintain appearances and put on the loving couple act. Night fell. Emma and I arrived at the banquet. Someone laughed and said, "Mr. Reed and Miss Johnson really are a perfect match. Their kids will be adorable." Emma, holding my arm, didn't respond. I smiled and replied with a few polite words, but in my heart I was thinking, have kids? My ass. All night, I stuck by Emma's side, socializing, shaking hands, smiling until my face was stiff. There were no feelings in it whatsoever, just practiced skills. After a while, the flatterers moved away. I finally had a chance to drink some juice to wet my throat and give my sore legs a break. So tiring. Even professional actors don't work this hard. But when I thought about the money I'd get after the divorce, I immediately perked up. I looked down at Emma, as if I were looking at a walking, glittering vault. I wondered, when can we get divorced? Half of her assets, truly irresistible. Emma might be a pain, but she's generous. Thinking of this, I even found her a bit more pleasing to the eye. Emma noticed my gaze. Seeing the stars in my eyes, she froze, frowned in disgust, and said, "Jason Reed, don't have delusions that I'll ever fall in love with you. It's impossible. Not in this lifetime." I rolled my eyes in my heart. "Stop being so full of yourself. The only thing I love is money. I hope that in the future, when people curse me, they'll say, 'He's so rich he only has money.'" After the banquet ended, Emma and I walked out. Not far away, I saw a man in a white shirt. The male lead, Lucas Wright. I instinctively pressed down my right hand, because in the original plot, the moment Jason saw Lucas, he rushed over and punched him, and Emma slapped him in public. I have no intention of being hit. Also, I'd just spent a fortune on facial treatments that afternoon. Emma and Lucas met in college. Lucas came from a poor family, but he was handsome, strong, and optimistic. His unyielding spirit attracted Emma. When Emma's mother found out about their relationship, she forcibly broke them up and tried to bribe Lucas with $2 million to leave her daughter. Lucas didn't take a cent. Unable to endure Emma's mother's humiliation, he broke up with Emma. If it were me, I'd have bargained for a higher price. If they'd gone up to $200 million, I'd have left immediately. What's so great about the female lead, anyway? Cold personality, not gentle, not cute. She's just pretty. Being pretty doesn't pay the bills. Right now, Lucas was staring at us stubbornly, eyes red with tears. To be precise, he was looking at Emma. Seeing us together had broken his heart. "Don't be sad, buddy. My relationship with the female lead is just for show. It's not real." Emma's expression changed drastically. She hurried forward, but Lucas turned and left. Watching him run in her chase, I almost wanted to drag out a little stool and grab popcorn to watch. This novel is supposed to be a sweet romance. The sweet couple is the male and female lead. I'm just the clownish side character. Emma caught up with Lucas and grabbed his hand. Lucas turned his face away, deliberately ignoring her. Emma anxiously explained, and then the two of them hugged each other tightly. Finally, they walked away hand in hand, completely forgetting I existed. Emma really is a devoted lover. If I weren't the one getting cuckolded, I'd applaud. I had just turned around to hail a taxi when I met a deep, cool gaze. It was Emma's older sister, Olivia Johnson, the heir to the Johnson Group, famous for her icy, distant personality. Looking at her aloof, indifferent face, I suddenly understood that frosty temper might be genetic. I greeted her respectfully. "President Johnson." Olivia studied me. "Your wife left you for another man, and you don't seem sad at all." "Of course I'm not sad. I'm no longer the original love brain Jason. Right now, I only want to divorce Emma, take half her assets, and live as a rich freeloader." I lowered my head and sighed. What's the point of being sad? The god of wealth doesn't smile on bitter men. Olivia looked at me for a long moment before saying, "I'll drive you home." Emma had already left, and taxis were hard to come by in this area, so I said, "Then I'll trouble you, President Johnson." The car ride was silent. When we arrived, Olivia personally opened the car door for me. I was about to thank her when a shadow fell over me. I looked up and saw her beautiful face very close to mine. I held my breath, my heart stuttered. To be honest, Olivia is only 3 years older than Emma, but she's much more mature and composed. She looks difficult to approach, so the original Jason always kept his distance from her. Good grief. Don't tell me she's taken a liking to me. I don't remember this in the book. Olivia said calmly, "Get some rest." I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. If you're just going to talk, why get so close? Thank you for the ride, President Johnson. In the days that followed, Emma and I remained at peace, mainly because she was busy dating Lucas, and I was busy spending money, shopping at the mall by day and hitting up auctions at night. Make as much money as possible, while I still have a protagonist's halo-adjacent life. One evening, Emma came home from work and froze when she saw the leftovers on the table. Previously, no matter how late she came back, Jason would wait to eat with her. I licked a bit of caviar from the corner of my mouth. If you haven't eaten, just have the kitchen make something again. And I'll grab a late-night snack later. I stood up, ready to go watch dramas in the home theater. Emma suddenly said, "You've been enjoying buying things lately." My steps paused. So, she's finally distressed about me spending her money. Do you think I've been spending too much? Emma said coolly, no. You just shouldn't leave everything lying around. We each have our own walk-in closet, side by side. She must have seen the brand new luxury items piled on my floor. She's not only a neat freak but also a perfectionist. She can't stand clutter. Okay, I'll tidy up later, I replied. Then I remembered something, looked at her, and added, then could you stop tossing your socks around? You threw them in front of my door last time. Emma's face darkened. Since when is it your turn to lecture me? Who do you think you are? Fine, fine. You're the big shot. I didn't argue with her. By the way, I'm planning to go on vacation. Maldives. Very soon, Emma's mother would find out she and Lucas were still involved and would instruct me to deal with Lucas. The original Jason was already crazily jealous and wanted to kill Lucas. With Mom Johnson's authorization, he went even further down the road of self-destruction. Lucas is the male lead, blessed with plot armor. What chance does a cannon fodder villain like me have fighting him? I just want to slack off. Vacationing far away is clearly the best choice. Emma didn't object. She never really cared what I did, as long as I didn't cling to her. But while I was sunbathing and checking out hot beauties in the Maldives, I got a call from Emma's mother, demanding I return immediately. I silently cursed Emma several times. Couldn't she be more discreet, so her mother wouldn't catch them? I haven't even seen enough bikini goddesses yet. Still, I booked a flight back. As soon as I got home, my phone rang. It was Emma. Jason, you know very well the person I love is Lucas. Let's get a divorce. My heart thudded wildly. I hadn't even been this excited when I transmigrated. I forced myself to sound calm. Okay. I agreed so quickly that Emma fell silent on the other end. Afraid she might have missed it due to bad signal, I reminded her, did you prepare the divorce papers? Emma asked suspiciously, you agree to the divorce? I sighed. It's not like it matters what I think. You don't love me anyway. I'll have my assistant bring the agreement to your house, she said. Got it. Her assistant really was efficient. Half an hour later, I held the divorce agreement in my hands, staring at the amount on it. My heart pounded, my fingers cramped from counting. No way I could spend it all. Absolutely no way. I bit my lip hard. Ow. That hurt. Not a dream. It's real. I quickly signed my name with trembling hands and handed the agreement back to Emma's assistant. Ask your boss if we can go get the divorce certificate right away. The assistant was stunned. This wasn't the scenario he'd expected. Even if his boss wasn't sad, I shouldn't be this happy. But he still did his job and called Emma. Then he said, President Johnson says it's fine. She's coming to pick you up. I hummed a little tune as I went upstairs to change. When I came back down, the assistant stared again. I was dressed even more youthfully and sharply than on our wedding day. I grinned. I'm about to become stupid rich, I need some sense of occasion. Once in the car, Emma gave me a once-over. You're in a good mood. My wide grin froze slightly. I turned to look at her. I thought, I've never gotten a shred of genuine affection from you. If I at least leave with a mountain of wealth, that's a win. But we hadn't gotten the divorce certificate yet. I couldn't be too obvious. I put on a pained expression. Do we really have to get a divorce? As expected, she looked disgusted. We absolutely have to, she said coldly. Relief washed over me. After a while, she asked, is there anything you want to add to the divorce agreement? I smiled. No. More than satisfied. But my good mood barely lasted 10 minutes. We got stuck in traffic at the worst possible time. I kept urging the driver to hurry. What if the civil affairs office closed? Emma gave me a strange look. I came up with a reasonable excuse. Aren't you very busy? I don't want to waste your time. Seeing the traffic still didn't move, I went up to the front to check. A guy was driving while talking on the phone, blocking the way. I walked over and knocked on his window. Hey, buddy, hang up. I'm in a rush to get divorced. This is urgent business, okay? The men stared at me. He'd seen people divorce, but never someone that eager. When I got back in the car, Emma was on the phone, her brow furrowed. Something had clearly happened. After she hung up, she said to the driver, "Don't go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Go to the old house." My heart sank. "Emma Johnson, if you dare go back on your word, I'll kill your company's money tree by watering it too much." Then I reflected, no, I still need her to keep making money so my share grows. When we arrived at the Johnson family estate, I realized Emma's mother had fainted from anger after hearing about the divorce. Emma's father was scolding her harshly. I stood off to the side, silent, eyes red, my thighs bruised from pinching them. Emma was determined to divorce, unwilling to compromise. I was determined to get half her assets, so I could only keep pretending to be heartsick. In the end, Emma went to kneel at the front door, begging the elders to approve our divorce. Good idea. Conveniently, it started pouring. I was secretly delighted. Heaven is on my side. A maid rushed to me. "Sir, Madam wants you to go persuade Miss Emma." I nodded solemnly. Understood. 10 minutes later, I sat on the steps under the eaves, eating sunflower seeds while watching Emma kneel in the heavy rain. I clicked my tongue. "Shooting an idle drama, are you, Miss Rainstorm?" The maid couldn't stand watching anymore and went to get an umbrella for Emma, but I stopped her. "If it's not tragic enough, they won't feel sorry for her. I hope she works harder so we can divorce faster." "Go pour me a cup of tea," I added. The maid stared. This son-in-law is very different from before. Emma's health wasn't great, and after kneeling for a while, she developed a fever. Typical fragile rich girl. A little rain and she's down. The maid helped her back to her room and called a doctor. I glanced at the thermometer. Only 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. She won't die. Then I dismissed the maid and, looking at Emma, pale and leaning against the headboard, I kindly poured her a glass of water. "If we want to get divorced quicker, you still need to work harder." Emma coughed a few times. "What do you mean?" I offered her an idea: go on a hunger strike. This trick really worked. Seeing their daughter sick and refusing to eat or drink, the Johnson elders were heartbroken. I was heartbroken too, for my money. Every day this dragged out, my interest was shrinking. In the end, they had no choice but to agree to the divorce. Emma's mother felt guilty toward me and pulled me into her room. She gave me an imperial jade pendant. She had always been generous to me, often gifting all sorts of valuable items. I cried and clutched her leg. "Mom, I can't bear to leave you. Can't bear to leave your treasures, that is. Worst case, just adopt me as your godson." When I came downstairs, I ran into Olivia. "You love Emma so much," she asked, "don't you feel terrible seeing her like this?" I'd rather feel bad for myself. I hadn't even had my bird's nest soup today. Anyway, Emma and I were about to be divorced. I couldn't be bothered to pretend to be in love. I shrugged. Love brain isn't incurable. I'm cured. Olivia smiled. I panicked. I'd never seen her smile before. There weren't many descriptions of her in the book, so I knew very little about her. Just then, a commotion sounded outside. I went out and saw Lucas standing at the gate, shouting that he wanted to see Emma. I had no interest in being a meddling matchmaker, so I told the servants to let him in. Lucas faced me. "I've known Emma for a long time. I didn't come between your marriage." I nodded. "Of course you didn't. You're the male lead in a wish-fulfillment romance. You're destined to level up non-stop. And I'm the villainous side character. Even if I do nothing, I get cursed." "Emma and I are getting divorced," I told him. Lucas froze. "You agreed to a divorce? It'd be hilarious if I didn't." I nodded. "Yes." I led Lucas upstairs. Unexpectedly, he missed a step, slipped backward, and fell. Ah. I reached to grab him, but I was too late. Watching him tumble down the stairs and lie in a pool of blood, I was horrified. My right eyelid twitched violently. I suddenly remembered a plot point: Jason pushes Lucas down the stairs on purpose. But this time I didn't touch him. I was speechless. Also, terrified. At the hospital, Lucas was still in emergency surgery. Emma's expression was thunderous. She stared at me like she wanted to rip me apart. I felt more wrong than a tragic heroine. Jason Reed, you'd better pray Lucas is okay. Otherwise, I'll make you pay 1,000 times over. Emma, are you even human? Remember who poured water for you when you were sick? But recalling the original Jason's tragic ending, I shivered. I subconsciously backed against the wall and started mentally picking coffin styles. I didn't. Emma glared. You're still going to deny? I saw it. He didn't push him. A voice cut her off. I turned. Olivia had appeared. President Johnson, my lifesaver. At that moment, the operating room door opened. The doctor said Lucas had a concussion and a fractured right leg. He'd need to be hospitalized. Emma was so worried about Lucas she had no time to deal with me. After Lucas woke, Emma asked, "Did Jason push you?" Lucas glanced at me and shook his head. He didn't. I just slipped. My heart, which had been hanging by a thread, finally settled. The plot had glitched, but thankfully the male lead's character hadn't collapsed, or I'd be doomed. Clearly, I needed to stay far away from the two of them, to avoid any more plot backlash. The next morning, Emma and I went to finalize the divorce. When I held the divorce certificate in my hands, I couldn't stop my tears. I'm finally rich. I wiped my eyes and smiled at Emma. I wish you love, and I wish myself wealth. Without waiting for her reaction, I drove off in my Maserati. The assets Emma gave me included several properties. I chose a large flat with an amazing view to move into. I didn't choose the 1,000-square-meter villa. I couldn't bear to hire staff. After the divorce, my life was absolutely thriving. Every day I woke up and first checked the interest added to my accounts, then went out to eat, drink, shop, and travel. One annoying thing, my parents found out I'd divorced Emma and called just to scold me. They'd lost a lot of benefits because of the divorce. I transferred them a big chunk of money. They shut up. Money isn't everything, but without money, you can't do anything. After coming back from Bali, I heard about a nice bar and went to check it out that evening. You've got to enjoy life while you're on top. I didn't order any outrageously expensive drinks or ladies. I just had a few drinks alone. Didn't expect to run into Olivia. Looked like she was a regular. So much for abstinent and pure. Behind the scenes she liked to visit these decadent places too. She noticed me quickly. I took the initiative. President Johnson. I figured if I ran into trouble later, she might lend me a hand. Olivia sat down next to me and gave me a faint smile. You seem to be doing quite well after divorcing Emma. I laughed it off. Not bad. Olivia was quite self-disciplined. She didn't order male companions, just quietly drank. But her alcohol tolerance was lousy. She was drunk in no time. When I saw it was getting late and tried to leave, she grabbed my hand and wouldn't let go. Men in the bar were eyeing her like wolves. They couldn't wait to take her home. I had no choice but to take her with me. When I went to pay, I almost dropped dead from shock. The bottle she'd drunk cost $150,000. I glared at the drunken Olivia. Big spender. Grinding my teeth, I paid the bill, my heart bleeding. I didn't know where she lived, and I couldn't take her to the Johnson estate. The sight of her like this would cause misunderstandings and trouble. I'm a cannon fodder side character, one wrong move and I die. So in the end, I brought her to my place. If she hadn't spoken up for me at the hospital last time, I wouldn't have bothered. I carried her into the guest room, set her on the bed, and went back to my room to sleep. I slept like a log. In the morning, I woke up hungry, smelling something delicious. I hadn't hired a maid. Who was in my kitchen? I jumped out of bed and ran to see. Turned out it was a snail fairy. No, it was the cheap CEO Johnson. I hadn't expected her to know how to cook. Olivia glanced at me. Go brush your teeth and wash your face. Breakfast is ready. I immediately went to clean up, taking the chance to shave and make myself look more spirited. Olivia clearly knew how to enjoy life, even her fried eggs looked refined. Unlike Emma, who lived on takeout and gave herself chronic stomach problems. She deserved it. Suddenly remembering something, I coughed. President Johnson. Olivia looked up. What is it? Still playing clueless. I'm not that easy. The bar tab from last night. Please transfer it to me. 150,000. And next time you go, let me know so I can avoid that bar. As soon as I finished, my phone buzzed. I glanced down. Why is there an extra 50,000? A tip, for not leaving me there last night, she said. I forced a couple of dry chuckles. Just respecting my elders and loving the young, you know. Olivia frowned. Are you calling me old? Only then did it hit me, old is a landmine for women. I quickly backpedaled. No, no. President Johnson, you're young and beautiful and stunning. I'm the old one. Out of things to say, I added, and the food you made is delicious. Olivia's expression softened. I felt like I was walking on eggshells. Since I had nothing to do every day, I decided to get a job. Olivia had good connections, so I called and asked if she could introduce something. She thought a moment. My secretary just went on maternity leave. You can fill in. The original Jason was lazy and incompetent. A secretary's job of delivering coffee and files was perfect for someone like me. So I agreed. When I started work, I discovered Emma's office was on the same floor. To make it worse, I ran into her. What cursed fate? Emma looked at me with disgust. Jason Reed, we're divorced. Stop haunting me. Strictly speaking, it wasn't entirely her fault. The original Jason had indeed been shameless in pestering her. But I wasn't taking responsibility for his sins. You've misunderstood, I said calmly. I'm here to work. Emma snorted. All you know how to do is eat and slack off. What else can you do but spend money? Don't think I don't know, you're just looking for an excuse to get close to me. I couldn't be bothered to explain. Emma, narcissism is an illness. You really should get it treated. Emma froze. The old Jason would never have talked back like this. I didn't look at her again. I simply turned and walked off, aura at a solid 2.8 meters. This was probably my first shining moment in front of her. I'd thought a secretary job would be chill. Reality slapped me fast. Olivia was a workaholic war machine. I was so busy I nearly died. Forget slacking, I barely had time to touch my phone. Seeing I wasn't adjusting well, Olivia said she'd treat me to a nice dinner that evening. In an instant, my urge to resign vanished. Such hardship was bearable. After work, we walked out of the elevator together and my foot suddenly slipped. I went sideways, about to faceplant. Olivia reacted quickly, grabbing my arm and keeping me upright. Our eyes met. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. Then a voice cut in. Sis. It was Emma. She glared at me. Jason Reed, what exactly are you trying to do? Work and make money, obviously. When did her IQ drop this low? I straightened. Thank you, President Johnson. Emma said to Olivia, Sis, this guy has bad intentions. Don't let him deceive you. Olivia looked at her and said, Jason is my secretary now. Have some respect. President Johnson, you're amazing. I picked the right person to cling to. Emma frowned. She wanted to say more, but Olivia had already pulled me away. Emma stood there, dumbstruck. I looked down at Olivia's hand on my arm. What did this mean? At dinner, Olivia asked, Do you still love Emma? I was busy dismantling a king crab. Don't mention her. She's bad luck and affects my appetite. Olivia laughed again. I genuinely didn't understand what she found so funny. She was so serious at work, yet I was trash-talking her own sister. After a few days, I adapted to the job. It was busy, but Olivia's mood was always stable, unlike Emma, who loved yelling at people and telling them to get lost. But my good days didn't last. I got knocked out cold right at my front door. Before I fainted, one thought flashed across my mind, I need to move. Security here sucks. When I woke up, I realized I was suspended in midair. If I fell, I'd splatter like a tomato. Turning my head, I saw Lucas had been kidnapped too. I instantly figured out what kind of cliché we were in. But seriously, could kidnappers in novels use their brains? Why kidnap me, the useless ex-husband? I can't threaten Emma. She'd love nothing more than to see me dead. Was I here just to thicken the atmosphere? Emma arrived quickly with the ransom money. Naturally, she came to save Lucas. She didn't look at me once. Turns out, these kidnappers were Emma's enemies. Wrong target, buddy kidnappers. You should have gone for her directly. In the end, the kidnappers forced Emma to choose one person to save, me, the ex-husband, or Lucas, the man she loved. They wanted her to suffer. I wanted to curse. This plot was exactly as stupid as I expected. So much to roast, so few words. Emma didn't hesitate. She chose Lucas. I wasn't surprised at all. If she'd chosen me, that would have been shocking. Was I really going to die here? My luxurious life had only just begun. If I'd known I'd die this soon, I wouldn't have been so stingy at the bar. I should have ordered a lady without hesitation. I regret it so much. They cut the rope. I fell. I shut my eyes tightly, but no pain came. When I opened them, I saw a thick crash pad under me. Olivia was squatting by my side. How are you? Any injuries? She'd clearly saved me. I grabbed her clothes, eyes full of tears. President Johnson, I'll repay you in my next life. Even if I have to be an ox or a horse. In this life, I just want to enjoy food and drink. After saying that, I passed out from fear. When I woke up again, I was lying in a hospital bed with no strength in my body. Surviving a great calamity means future blessings, right? When I heard that Emma had been injured and was in the ward next door, I instantly sat up, full of energy. I want to be discharged. I needed to get far away from her. I didn't want to be dragged into her mess again. Olivia walked in. The nurse said you want to leave. I nodded. I'm fine. The only danger was being in the same hospital as Emma. Who knew when her enemies would show up again? She's a trouble magnet. Olivia pushed me back down. Lie down and rest. President Johnson. Behave, she said. I could only obey. She'd saved my life, after all. But I was still terrified, so I grabbed her arm. Then don't leave. Olivia gave a small hum of agreement. She wasn't talkative, but she was reliable. I took a nap. The test results came back, everything normal. Seems living to 99 is still on the table. After completing discharge procedures, Olivia asked, Emma's in the next room. Do you want to see her? See her? She nearly got me killed. Again. I shook my head firmly. No. As we left the ward, we still ran into Emma and Lucas. Emma had gotten hurt chasing the kidnappers, but it wasn't serious. I hid half my body behind Olivia. President Johnson, let's hurry. Olivia squeezed my hand. Don't be afraid. I instantly felt braver. Emma glared. Sis, he. Shut up, Olivia snapped. Looking at Emma's constipated expression, my mood soared. President Johnson is awesome. She confidently led me past them. Walking out of the hospital lobby, I looked down at our interlocked hands. Even if I wanted to keep pretending not to notice, I couldn't. President Johnson. Olivia stopped. I raised our joined hands, licking my lips. I don't mind holding hands, but you. Before I could finish, Olivia bent down and kissed me. My mind went blank. I didn't know how to react. The book never mentioned anything like this between us. Olivia straightened up, her gaze burning hot. My face felt so warm I could fry an egg on it. I wanted to find a hole and crawl in. That was my first kiss. Her beautiful voice teased, want Emma to call you brother-in-law. I imagined that scene and burst out laughing, nodding hard. Yes. And just like that, Olivia and I got together. But I didn't expect Emma to come looking for me on her own. I was busy preparing to move into a big villa when she appeared. Jason Reed, all you want is money, right? I'll give you 20 million if you leave my sister. She'd come to buy me off with a check. I was about to reply when someone hugged me from behind. I turned. It was Olivia. She looked down at me. Jason, I'll give you 200 million if you marry me. I wrapped my arms around her. I wasn't going to agree to her offer anyway. As if I'd even look at a mere 20 million. Olivia asked, then will you marry me? I looked straight at her. Yes. Then I turned to Emma. What are you staring at? Call me brother-in-law. Emma's face turned ugly, but under Olivia's pressuring gaze, she forced out, brother-in-law. I picked Olivia up in my arms. Let's go get our marriage certificate.